Focus on businesses, not content creators, when it comes to link building with Bibi Raven, aka Bibi the Link Builder. Brought to you by Majestic. I'm David Bain, and this is SEO in 2022. Bibi, what is your number one SEO tip for 2022?
So my tip is to focus on other businesses when you're creating prospect lists. A lot of people, they focus on content creators and bloggers and influencers, but that specific type of prospect has been outreached so much that it makes more sense to look at businesses that share a part of your audience and then make a connection with them. So build a relationship with them, reach out to them, and create content that serves their audience and helps them sell and engage to, their potential customers.
Got you. Okay, so many businesses will already have partnerships with other businesses, know people in other businesses. So I guess it's a case of really leveraging the existing contacts that you already have.
Yeah, people leave those on the table a lot, but you can also find if you do some lateral thinking and you think about the motivations and the triggers that your audience have, you can find new angles to your prospect list. So I think a lot of people already have connections with other businesses that's really very directly related to their products. But if you do a bit of more creative thinking, then you can find even more businesses that you can connect with.
So are you suggesting that the SEO reaches out and makes these connections or link builders, or are you talking about other people within the business, so not necessarily even within the marketing department that forms these relationships?
No, I would focus on the marketers or the founders of another business. I wouldn't go to support or tech or whatever. I would just focus on the people that are responsible for the content on their sites, or the people who lead the company. So you can, as a leader, you can connect with other leaders.
Okay, so if you're a leader or you're an SEO and you're connecting with another leader within the business, are they generally receptive to what you're trying to say? Do you lead with a link building discussion, or are there better ways to lead the discussion in order to actually end up with the link that you're looking for?
No, I do think you need to be transparent about what your intentions are, because you don't want to waste people's time. So if they know what your motivation behind it is, they can, you can cut a lot of time and just make a collab with each other that's mutual for you both. That's a good thing for you both. But you do have to think from their goals. So instead of just thinking of yourself, what you want to accomplish, you already have to be a step ahead and think about what's in it for them. And I think that's where a lot of SEOs, they make a mistake. They think about, I just want to get the link, and you can be transparent about it, like what's in it for you, but your starting point should be what's in it for them.
Now, I remember SEO quite a while ago. I remember back in 2005 when you used to simply be able to build link directories on your own website and swap links with other people, have lots of reciprocal links going on. And you talked about a partnership, a mutually beneficial partnership, I think you said. But obviously, if you're going to exchange links, then that's not necessarily as beneficial as a link pointing to your website. So how do you go about building a mutually beneficial partnership without simply just exchanging links?
Yeah, so I'm not against link exchanges if they make sense, but it shouldn't be your whole backlink profile. So that's if I wouldn't turn down a reciprocal link, let's say that way.
Okay.
But if you look for other ways to do it, then you have to think about their goals. So like how, let's say you're a marketing company that targets SaaS providers, right? So not me as a client, but I'm reaching out to a marketing provider. Then I have to think about how can they sell to their audience, to those SaaS companies. And so you can offer content that they can use to help sell to their audience. or you can have some resource on your own site that they can refer to, and it will help them become more valuable to their audience. So that's
it might be useful just to think about one or two specific examples of this in action. So, I mean, can you think of an example or two where someone's reached out to perhaps a business founder and managed to build a great quality link as a result of doing this?
You mean in my own campaigns?
In your own campaigns or other
Okay.
campaigns that you've seen, just any specific example you think is a great example of doing this?
Yeah, so let's say I'm a garden furniture site, and I want to get links from other sites that are relevant to gardening, but I don't want to reach out to bloggers, right? Because they're all going to ask for money. So maybe I'll build a prospect list that's entirely consistent of people that provide water sprinklers. And then on my site, I have a resource about water usage in the garden or other stuff. And that's something that the water sprinkler system manufacturer can link out to for their audience. So that's how that will work.
Okay, great. So one thing that I would do instinctively is probably look to interview the top 10 water sprinkler experts in the world and create a piece of content out of that, and then say to them, great, okay, the piece of content's out there, it's been published, here's where you've been featured, and I hope to get a link that way. Is that still an effective way to do it, or is that not as good as it used to be?
To be honest, I've only done like 3 expert roundups in my life, and they all bombed. So
So why was that? Why did they bomb?
I actually don't know. I think maybe by the time I was using it, it was such an overused tactic that people weren't really impressed by being mentioned somewhere. But at the same time,
by bombing, you mean people aren't willing to link because they're interviewed in so many other places?
Yeah, they weren't linking back at all. But it could also be the way I executed it, because I know that other people are still using expert roundups. So there must be some good in it, because they must be getting links back. So I probably think, so I'm not against a lot of link building strategies. I just think you have to do the strategy that's closest to your own skills and your own personality.
Good point.
Because a strategy is only as good as its execution, right? So I can critique a lot of strategies just because they didn't work for me, like an expert roundup, but it might mean that it works very well for somebody else. So
yeah. Great point. You've got to do things that suit your personality, and that includes content creation as well. If you're not absolutely passionate about the method that you're using, then you're not going to be as good as the competition out there. But in relation to link building, you said don't focus so much on content creators, focus on businesses. Why do you not want to focus so much on content creators nowadays?
Yeah, it can still work again, if you find the right angle and you are very persuasive. But the problem is that link builders have reached out to so many content creators and influencers that they are very jaded. The prospects are very jaded, so they will ask you for money, and that's okay. But if your whole backlink profile is built on paid links, and these people are selling left and right to everyone, that's paying the right price, it can be risky, but it's also not a very competitive backlink profile. You're not getting the links that your competitors aren't getting. So I would definitely shift your focus to look into places where not everyone is looking.
So I certainly understand what you're saying with reaching out to people who perhaps haven't received so many messages about linking to content. I guess the challenge with that is you're reaching out to people that might not be that comfortable with how to create a link or what a link actually means in terms of value. So they might perhaps dismiss it, and they might just refer to your brand or talk about your brand without linking to your brand. Should that be a concern?
I don't think it's a huge problem if you have a couple of unlinked mentions. That's okay. And but it does always help to go back hunt after that link. But at the same time, especially with COVID, so many brick and mortar businesses now have a website. In e-commerce, they understand more about links. So I think those business owners do understand the value of SEO more. So they do understand more about links. And even if they don't, then you can educate them, go into that email conversation and just explain to them how this will help them or help you, I mean.
How often should link building happen? Is this something that needs to happen every single week? Can it be done perhaps just in a quarterly or every 6-month project in higher numbers and then forgotten about for a while?
That's a really good question, because the funny thing is that I have clients where we paused link building for a bit. I have clients where we ramped up the link building, or where we did do continually the same amount of links. And the results are so varied that I don't really have a good answer to that. Because sometimes I think, nothing's going to happen because it's only 5 links. And then the traffic jumps up, right? And other people, I build the same amount of links every month, and the build up goes really slow. So I think it's dependent on so many other factors. But I would say, though, is that if you have made the decision to do link building, you should just probably do it continually, because you will learn so much about link building if you do it consistently, and you might start seeing great opportunities, around the seasonal things, around current topics, around developments in your niche. Don't do link building at the moment that you feel like you really needed to give your site a boost. So I would just do it all the time.
Is it not important that link building matches the cadence of content publishing? So if you haven't published a new piece of content for 6 months and you're consistently getting links, is there not a danger that might look artificial in the eyes of Google?
I don't know. I don't know. Because I usually... So I either do link building for content that already exists on your site, or I do guest posts. So then it's not even dependent on your site. It's just dependent on the quality of the content in the guest post. And it becomes, I guess a guest post sort of is an extension of your own content, but it's just on another domain. So it's still part of content marketing. But I don't know if that's a danger. How do you see that in your data?
I'm probably not actively looking at enough data personally at the moment to be able to give you a definitive answer to that one either. But my instinct would be that if links continually appear, then it would have to be either because the piece of content is already popular, the website is already popular, and people are naturally discovering that, or new content has been published and is more likely to be discovered. My instinct would be that if a website wasn't popular at all in terms of getting any organic traffic and was consistently getting leads, then the nature of how the links built up may be questioned by search engines. But
right.
I'm not entirely sure either. It's part of an ongoing conversation, between yourselves and other SEOs, just to get experience of different people. So that's why I was just wondering if you had any perspective on that.
Yeah, I do know that a lot of tricks work, right? But I'm not. I'm too dumb for them, so I just use my I just use my common sense.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing. It needs to be common sense. If you're not adding common sense to the mix, then it's not going to work out.
Yeah, and also, if you have evergreen content, it's let's say you have something that comes back every year, or it's always valid, then you might be picking up links all the time, or once you start ranking for a keyword.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I have a client, and we did a piece on the science of kissing. And I think we did it last year or something, but now it's suddenly starting to pick up links, and from really strong sites. But those strong sites they're around the relationship topics. So they keep going back to that resource. So we're getting multiple links. Now, is that going to look unnatural? I have no idea, but it's just the way it's happening now.
If that article, if that piece is continuously popular from an evergreen perspective, then it is natural, or appears to be natural. Absolutely. I mean, I'm aware of pieces of content that have been published 5+ years that are still exceptionally popular because they're great pieces of content. So it would be naturally for people to still be recommending them to their readers as a great resource.
Yeah. So the only thing is with that is that sometimes you don't know beforehand. So I think we created like 20 pieces and only 2 of them are doing that. So you got to be okay with taking the risk a little bit.
So if an SEO is struggling for time a bit and they want to be spending a bit more time on higher quality link building, on doing things like having conversations with other business founders and building relationships with a view to actually establishing better links or less of the same links, what's one thing that perhaps an SEO has been doing over the last 5 years that they need to stop doing in order to spend more time focusing on what you recommend?
One of the things that SEOs should stop doing, or stop doing just that, is that they find prospects based on keywords. So let's say you want to rank for a specific keyword, then you start looking for sites that are ranking on the same keyword or something that's related to it. And that's how you build up your prospect list. There are other ways, but a lot of SEOs just do that way. So what I would do is use a couple of different prospect angles. And one of them is that you look at businesses that are catering to your audience in a similar customer journey. So let's say you have people that are interested in gaming. They might also be interested in VPN. So then you reach out to VPN sites to get links from them, or and the other angle that you can do is people that have a correlated interest. So if you're looking at people that are interested in keto diet, they might, a lot of them are also interested in gardening or sustainability. So it's on a correlated interest. It's not your direct customer in terms of they don't have that search intent yet that you're trying to rank for, but they are in the same realm. So stretch that relevancy a bit and not just go directly for your main keyword. Or
stop building up the same type of links and start thinking outside of the box and building
lateral
up something
thinking.
completely different. Great stuff. Well, you can find Bibi Raven over bbuzz.com. Bibi, thanks so much for being part of SEO in 2022.
Yay! Happy New Year!
Check out the rest of the content from SEO in 2022 over at seoin2022.com.